boys and girls. It's trivia day, and this week's trivia was very interesting. We had a lot of participation, and every single person got the correct answer. Unfortunately, not everybody is in the bucket today because some of you forgot labels. Everybody got it in on time. There was nothing else wrong. Everybody got the correct answer, but if you don't put your labels on it, you don't get to be put in the bucket. So if I don't call your name and you did trivia, it was correct. Unfortunately, it didn't have labels. Okay, let's get started. So this was about stacking blocks, and many of you did some very interesting things. Some of you stacked dice to prove it. Some of you actually built block structures. Awesome job. All right, so this is what we know. We know that there's 14 blocks in all. We know that stack 1, it has 3 more than stack 2. Stack 2 has 1 less than stack 3, and stack 4 has 2 times the number of blocks in stack 2. So many of you approached it different ways. There was an organized list. I want to show you how my mind thought about it. So I looked at this and I said, stack 1 has 3 more than stack 2. So I made stack 2 the question mark, because that's what we didn't know. But I also knew that stack 1 was going to have 3 more blocks. So I put the 3 blocks in. And then stack 2 had 1 less than stack 3. So stack 3 was the question mark and 1 extra box than stack 2. And then I knew that stack 4 was 2 times whatever stack 2 was, so I knew that that had to be 2 of the question marks. I just didn't know what they were. So then what I did is I said, okay, I know that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks that we've used. So that's 14 minus 4, and that gives us 10. And I also know I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 question marks. Well, if I have 5 question marks and I have 10 blocks left over, that means that each question mark is 2 blocks. So I put the 2 blocks in, and I got to cross out the question marks after I put those 2 blocks in. And then all that was left was that I have to count up the blocks in each stack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 blocks. 1, 2 blocks. 3 blocks, or cubes, and 4 blocks. Again, or cubes. Either one of those is acceptable. I wanted to go back and check my work because it also meant that there had to be 14. So 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 3 more is 10, plus 4 more is 14. So that's the correct answer. That's how I did it. Many of you used an organized list, keeping in mind everything that had to go. So it was more like a guess and check. So I'm going to use somebody's. I think they started with 9. And then they said, okay, if stack 1 was 9, then they were going to have, that was going to be 3 more than stack 2. So that made this 6. And then stack 2 was 1 less than stack 3, so that made it 7. And I hope that at that point, the person realized, wow, I'm just going to have way too many blocks, but perhaps they kept going, and they knew that stack 4 was double this, so that was 12. They could see right away that the total was way over 14, so that couldn't have been correct. So then they stepped it down, and they said, okay, what if stack 1 had 4, And then we go up here, and that's 3 more than stack 2. So then stack 2 would be 1. And stack 2 was 1 less than stack 3, so that would make this 2. And then it was double this, so that would be 2. And so if we counted that up, 4, 5, and 4 more is 9, so that's not correct. And then let's say, okay, well maybe we'll do 6, because that was really low. So we'll do 6 for stack 1. Again, we go back up, that's 3 more than stack 2, so that would make this 3. We know that this is double, so we can skip over here to make it 6. And we know that stack 3 would be 1 more. And then if we added this up, this was 9, and this was 10. And so that's 19. So again, we aren't correct. So let's step it down a little bit, because that was 19. Let's do 5 for stack 1. If stack 1 is 5, then stack 2 is 2, and that would make this 4 because it's double, and this 3. And so if we count that up, here's 7 plus 3 is 10, 14. We have our answer. So that was the guess and check method that some of you used. And then there's just one that I want to talk about that I thought the person actually worked backwards with the logic, and they said, okay, let's look at stack 4. It's 2 times stack 2. Right away we know that it has to be an even number. We know that stack 4 has to be an even number. And then we say, okay, well, it's got to be an even number, but it also has to be less than 7, because 7 times 2 is 14, and it has to be even. So let's just say stack 4 was 6, and that would make stack 2 3, and that would make this 4, and that would make this 6 as well. And again, we find out that that's 19. So then we step it down and we say, okay, let's say that stack 4 is 4, because we're not going to try 3 or 5 because they're odd numbers. So if this is 4, then we know that's double that, so this has to be 2. We know that this is 1 more, 3, and we know that this is 3 more, that's 5. If we count that up, we already know the correct answer. Our answer would be 5 blocks, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, and 4 blocks. This was a really interesting way of doing it, and not one that I thought of, but I was pretty impressed that somebody else did. Okay, so great job. Again, if you don't hear your name, it isn't that you didn't get the correct answer. Unfortunately, it's that you forgot to put labels on. Okay, so who is in the bucket this week? So for Mrs. Burke's class, it's Allie, Tate, Audrey, Reagan, Ryan T, Addie, and Alyssa. So let's see who the winners are there. I want to say something before I pick. We have not had somebody who's won twice since we've been in quarantine, but that might happen. And it was a little bit different while we were at school. We could keep picking, but for this, whoever wins, wins. And the winner is Reagan. And that is a second-time winner, I believe. So congratulations, Reagan. Okay, and then from Mrs. Heath's class, we have Toby, Liam, Maggie, Aiden, Hayden, and Shane. Okay, congratulations to all of you. So many cards. Okay, and the winner of this week's trivia is Shane. Congratulations, Shane. Okay, and finally, from Mrs. Sullivan's class, we have Aiden, Colin, Mason, Sophie, Brian, Gianna, Madeline, Harrison, and Ryan. And the winner is second time winner, Brian. Congratulations, Brian. Okay, nice job, boys and girls. We made it through another week. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there who are working so hard, mothers and fathers, but it's Mother's Day, who are working so hard to really help you get this organized. I hope you appreciate them. We certainly do. Enjoy your day.